everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. For today's video, I wanted to go through the short time frames, analyzing what I see with Bitcoin, talking about the bounce that we've had, and then I want to finish it up by talking about why I believe the next cycle coming has the very real potential to rival the same profits that we saw in 2017. I believe that we are getting ready for a massive institutional adoption cycle because they have already been accumulating this entire bear market. What happens after institutions accumulate? They pump their bags to the masses, and I'm going to break it down how to go about profiting off of this, especially as we get closer towards the end of this bear market. If you're new and just find this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos like the one provided for you here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. With that being said, let's jump right into it today. Alrighty guys, so here we are taking a look at Bitcoin in the shorter time frames. What I want to talk to you guys about today, start off, we're going to jump into the shorter time frames because I think that this is really important. Yesterday's video I talked about why I believe that we're going to be heading for one more low before this is over. And so I figured now would be a good opportunity of talking and covering, what the shorter time frames are going to look like before we get into why I believe this next cycle is ultimately going to be so big. Now, first things first, guys. What I foresee inside of the Bitcoin chart, our entire last impulse just looks like a bearish impulse. It looks like we just finished 5 waves down, and what it looks like we need right now is a C leg up. It looks like we're working on wave B, and I believe that we're going to get one more final impulse to the upside, or what I should say, bearish correction to the upside, and that's going to be taking us upward of about $17,500. That's kind of what the market structure is looking like to me. Looks like we'll probably rally upwards of this resistance here before this is over, and that will kind of be a really important level for understanding what's going to happen after, right? Overall, depending on the reaction that we get after this move to the upside, if we reject really hard, we fall all the way back down to this support, that's going to look really bearish in the same way that this looks like a massive wick on the higher time frames. This move will as well. It will just fade just like this one did, and then I'm expecting another major drop. Overall, it's looking like this is going to end up retesting the range lows back down here at about the mid 15,000s. And so that's kind of what I'm watching for. I don't really think that we should get too excited right now. Yes, we are making a higher high. We are consolidating above prior resistance, now acting as potential support. So there is the argument to be making here for a short-term long opportunity. But for me, I think the short-term long opportunity was made inside of this wave 5 impulse. And so for me, the best thing that I'm going to be looking for is mainly shorts if we rally back upwards of about mid 17,000s. That's kind of what the market structure is telling me. If we remove our drawing tools, then we come out here on about a weekly time frame. Keep in mind this is the Binance chart. If we come out here, we really only have a few levels that we can watch for. And that's why I say, guys, just don't overcomplicate things. If you got money waiting to buy, just set some buy orders at these levels. If you don't, then the best thing to do is just wait until we fill those buy orders. Or we might not. Overall, overcomplicating things, causing yourself all of this worry is only going to make you panic sell or make a stupid decision, especially when we're getting so close towards the very end. Our time frames are flashing major lows. On top of that, we're correcting pretty damn close to an 80% sell-off from the highs. That's on par with prior bear markets. And then we're also flashing exactly 4 years from our major cycle low here in 2018. And so there's all the reason in the world to be accumulating right now, or at the very least just simply waiting for the market to truly bottom and finish its 4-year cycle low. And so if you're somebody that's looking to accumulate, there's only a few levels that we can even watch for. The first thing is the fact that this right here, this entire consolidation that we've been on, has been broken. We rejected. That tells me that this is resistance. So we're below the all-time highs and this cluster right here. That tells me that we've got one more decent sized drop coming. We don't have a support level until basically 14,000, and we don't have another one until pretty much right here at about 12,400. And then I would say our final one to target is pretty much down here at about 10K. That's where we're going to be looking for our final sell-off to take us. And, it's anybody's best guess how low it goes. All kinds of factors are going to play in this. What is going to be the negative bearish sentiment that comes out, or I should say the news that comes out that drops the market lower? I don't know, but most likely there's going to be something because the charts are pretty much screaming that this is bearish. We just broke down from a 5-month range. We just retested it right there and rejected. There's nothing really that's telling us the market is bullish. The trend's already been down. And so with this final sell-off, it could get pretty volatile, especially with this being the final sell-off and the final capitulation. We've seen how prior capitulations have worked when Bitcoin halved over 50% inside of 2018. Even though our market structure is a little bit different, I still believe that we will get one more quick capitulation back down, and I honestly think that this will get bought up relatively quickly. I don't think that we're going to stay down here long. So if you're somebody that wants to accumulate this dip, you got to probably set buy orders beforehand, have your money already sitting on exchanges ready to accumulate it. And for a lot of people, that's going to sound really sketchy. Oh man, FTX just collapsed. I don't want to leave my money on exchanges. Well, then I guess you're not going to buy the dip, because I'm telling you, when these sell-offs happen, they happen so fast that most people just aren't going to have the opportunity of buying them if you're just watching off of your phone or something. The big thing is to have buy orders, or if you can't, you're just super pessimistic about exchanges, set some alerts on your phone at the very least. Set some alerts no matter what time in the evening or in the morning or whenever that you may or may not be there. You will know, because you'll get some alerts that'll trigger. The big thing here, guys, if we go to 10K, that's awesome. If we go to 12K, that's awesome. If we go to 14K, that's awesome. It doesn't matter. I believe that this will be the final sell-off, and so just do your part and accumulate it if you have the plan to do so. I don't believe that we're going to last long at these levels, especially considering this is the first cycle that we've ever closed so back far within our previous market structure of the last cycle. I honestly believe that that is more reason on why we should use this opportunity as a huge opportunity to accumulate. I don't believe we're ever going to see this happen again until, probably after the real cycle top for Bitcoin, the real adoption phase where all of the retail kind of FOMO's in, the real cycle top that we've always been talking about. At that point, we would expect to see that the market would drop way back within prior market structure, except instead of that being a bullish opportunity, it's going to just keep dropping lower and we'll have a multi-year bear market. I believe that the fact is, with us being so low back within prior market structure, I believe our entire last cycle was pretty much hindered because of all of the stuff that was going on in our economy, right? We don't have full everything going to 100%. China's still in lockdowns. They're still battling with COVID for 3 years. America's still kind of in the same boat. And so there's a lot of different reasons for why the economy has been sluggish. And I believe that that was why we didn't see quite the same sort of return inside of Bitcoin. I don't believe that Bitcoin is done having these big moves, though. I believe that Bitcoin is simply just consolidating inside of a market structure that is giving us a better opportunity of accumulating at lower levels that most people, including myself, never would have thought possible. And so you're going to have the people that are pessimistic that are saying to themselves, oh, we didn't have blow off top, we're never going to have blow off top, Bitcoin's dead, that was the true cycle top for Bitcoin, I'm not going to be getting into it. And it would make sense that those people are coming out after an 80% drop to the all-time high. So it's just the same emotions every single cycle. For me, nothing's changed in the big picture. For me, we had all this crap going on in our economy, and so yeah, I do believe that that ultimately impacted the long-term price of Bitcoin, or I should say the short-term price of Bitcoin. I don't believe that that's why we saw quite the same sort of rally to the upside as prior cycles. There's just not enough new money to come in. There's too much bearish factors driving the economy lower. And so now that we're kind of at this point, the dollar's topped. Even though the short-term volatility of the dollar is going to impact crypto, it's looking like we've only got one more sell-off before this cycle low is going to be in. And that's ultimately going to set us in for the next bull run. I think that with us being back so far within our prior market structure, that should be looked at as a huge opportunity to buy, because I don't think that it's going to last very long, especially if we get one more sell-off. The fact that we could buy Bitcoin at potentially 10K, I think that there's going to be a ton of institutions that are coming in here to do the same thing, considering there was a bunch of them that were buying up here at $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. So if that's the case, you got to know that people are going to be stepping in here as well. The fact is, guys, what I love about this chart over here, this is the Bitcoin futures chart. And the reason I like it so much is because it perfectly shows how institutions accumulate. It's not coincidence that the exact day The very first time that we got an on-ramp for institutions was the exact day that Bitcoin topped at $20,000. They shorted the exact top, and it was the first time ever in which they've had a platform to short them, and that was the CME futures platform. So the fact that they shorted the exact top shows that they were accumulating throughout this entire time, right? They accumulated here, the contracts ended right here. Instantly, the market rebounded to 14K. And we corrected all the way back down here. COVID, we saw a ton of new institutions that came in here and bought this dip. And so they accumulated throughout this entire period over here. Once the market started taking off, we saw some more institutions, but mainly the dumb ones that just bought the top, like Michael Saylor. But nonetheless, now that we're crossing all the way back down within the prior cycle highs, you got to think that there's institutions that are still accumulating this. And I believe that this entire chart is ultimately showing us an example of the valuation of a market cycle. The institutional investors phase, they come in here after, the very beginning stages, right? There's got to be enough liquidity for institutions to come in and buy. There wasn't in prior cycles. There just simply wasn't. And you can factor it as many times as you want. You can talk about it however you want. There just wasn't enough liquidity back in the early days of Bitcoin until right around the very top of 2017. That was when we were in hundreds of billions of dollars, right? And so with that being said, if that's the case, and we've been accumulating inside of this entire point, I believe that where we're at right now is this first sell-off in the bear trap. That was this cycle top. And so with the selling back down, I believe that we're inside of this bear trap. And the next cycle coming very easily could be this one right here, where we get the mania phase, right? The public phase, where all of the mainstream news outlets show the ever-living crap out of crypto, and then everybody's grandparents that don't even know how to function an email properly go and tell you to buy crypto. That is when we know the real cycle top is upon us, and I just don't believe we've seen anything like that. If you were here for our prior cycles, you would know that 2017 had way more euphoria than anything that we saw over here. It was close. NFTs were pretty euphoric. DeFi got pretty euphoric with all of the meme coins and crap like that. But nonetheless, guys, we didn't really see quite to the same equivalent of what I saw in 2017. Not even close. 2017 was a different animal. And I don't believe that we aren't going to see another one of those. I believe that we will see another one of those, and it's going to be so massive in comparison that it'll make 2017 look like a tiny little blip on the big scale. Now, guys, with that being said, if we really are inside of this bear trap, which would make sense to me, we can literally look at the chart and see when institutions got in. And that's by the Bitcoin CME futures. This is an institutional chart. This is an institutional on-ramp for them to accumulate. They shorted the exact top of Bitcoin. And that's why they've been accumulating it throughout this entire period. They probably stopped throughout this, but now that we're crossing back within prior market structure of that 2018 cycle bear market, you got to keep in mind these same people are going to be accumulating again. And if there's people that missed out, they're going to be jumping in here for the first time, especially if Bitcoin drops, 14, 12, 10K. They're going to be stepping in here massively. And so if our next cycle really could be one of these massive media attention, public greed, delusion, new paradigm, and all that fun stuff, what is it inside of the charts that are telling us that this could also be happening? And to be honest, guys, I think that there's a lot telling us the charts, or there's a lot in the charts that are telling us this could happen. Our market structure looks identical to what we saw inside of that build-up before our 2017 bull run. And I've been hammering this, guys. I've been telling you, I've been trying to get this through your heads to basically just map out what I believe is going to happen. But I believe there's a reason why our market structure looks so identical. The only difference is it's taking more time to create the same type of a move. We're still following 4-year cycles, but keep in mind, guys, that this was just one cycle, right? That was just one cycle. But this was one cycle for us, basically over our 4 years, right? And so I believe that we're just inside of this move here, this first impulse, first move above previous all-time highs, and we're getting ready for another one of these 2017 moves into price discovery. The only difference is I believe that it just takes more time to move that same amount of money. Whereas this was all just one cycle, now this move is just one cycle, right? It just takes more time. So with our next cycle coming, I honestly think that it's going to be, something along the lines of this. I don't know how it's going to look exactly, but I believe it's going to look like this, a very parabolic type of cycle. And it might not finish all the way to the blow off top. This might end up being our next bear market, right? We might consolidate like this, go around for a while, and then start our new cycle up, and then that'll be the very completion. I don't know what it's going to look like, guys, and I don't really care that much. What the market structure tells me is that the market looks like we're getting ready for another one of these. This entire last cycle was us barely breaking out of all-time highs, consolidating above those previous all-time highs. Even if we make one more drop back down a little bit lower, it still doesn't really change the big picture, and I still believe that this is going to be the next cycle that's coming. And that's why I shared with you guys this chart right here, is because if that's also what the altcoin total market cap looks like, and it's also telling us that we could see another one of these type of moves, it wouldn't be coincidence to me that this would be the first sell-off in the bear trap before this type of a move that came. And with the CME chart pretty much telling us exactly when institutions started buying, the exact day the Bitcoin topped, there's a lot of reasons and there's a lot of data that we can pull that tells us the next cycle coming very easily could be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, we've ever seen. We have not seen the true cycle top, new paradigm, all of the news outlets go crazy about crypto. We haven't quite seen that. But I believe now than ever before, we have the on-ramps to do so. We have the institutional involvement to do so. We have the mainstream news outlets that are, more than capable of shilling it to the masses. And I believe that the only thing that hasn't happened is just simply the fact that we haven't done the move yet. And so I believe that we will be getting this type of a move. I don't think that we've got much more time until that happens. I honestly believe that that was going to happen here when we rallied up to 250,000. We didn't get that move. And that told me that I was a little bit too overly optimistic, and it was just a little bit too premature quite yet. With this sell-off, I think that institutions are going to come in real heavy, especially on this final sell-off. If we go to 10K, you already know there's going to be so many people jumping in here to buy. I'm going to be jumping in there to buy. I don't know about you guys. So anyways, if you found value in this, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys believe in this, if you guys disagree, whatever, drop a comment. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. I've shared with you guys a bunch of charts that tell me that the next cycle could be very big. And so I want to hear what your guys think about that. Overall, if you guys found value in this, leave a like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord server, download my free ebook, go ahead and join my signals if you want to follow the trades that I post, all of that fun stuff. Links are in the description. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.